and get tangled up in Disney.
No choice. Here comes the smolder.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Tangled Up in Disney. Obviously, your favorite Disney podcast ever.
Obviously.
Is this a new sweater?
It's one I stole from my sister's closet. Because I have not
adore
reworn a Disney sweater during a podcast yet.
That's impressive.
And I was over there and I was like, crap, I'm going to have to rewear one today. She's like, wait, I have one. Yes. So I'm borrowing
You're just
her
going to
clothes
start
now.
getting a bunch in the mail?
Yes, please. Never have to reuse a Disney sweater again.
You have to go, like, you guys have thrift shops up there? Just go check out the thrift shops and see if anybody's dumped any.
That's actually a good idea.
As soon as I said it, I was like, I need to go do that around here too, actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well,
idea.
That's what we're going to do.
Know what you're doing this weekend.
Yes.
Well, welcome back, everyone. This week, we're very, very excited to talk about, honestly, the people that I think are the most popular in the Disney fandom, which is villains. Like, how do you not love a good villain? I think it's going to be so interesting.
I never like villains.
Really?
I'm not a villain person.
There are some movies that I think are made by the villain. Like, I wouldn't watch it without them.
That's fair. But still, they're like not my favorite.
I love villains. It's great. So I'm very excited to talk about this. I swear I had something that, like, this happened this week and it was really big and now I can't.
Oh, Splash Mountain.
Oh, yes, thank you. The thing that I've cried about for the last 2 or 3 days.
Callie will text me. She's like, I'm watching Splash Mountain again and I'm bawling. And then it's like, I just realized Aiden will never be able to ride on Splash Mountain and I'm crying.
You're gonna make me cry again.
Oh, no.
Y'all, the number of clips and videos that I have watched. So Splash Mountain's last official day running was Sunday, the 22nd. Yesterday was the first day in 30 years that Magic Kingdom has operated with Splash Mountain being closed.
30 years.
I'm actually going to cry again.
Don't cry. It's fine.
So look, it's literally just something that's huge in the park that has always been in the park that I've been going to forever is closed down, and it's sad that it's closing. But what I do think is really exciting is that the Tiana, what's funny about it is it's really going to be more of an overlay than anything. It's just a retheming. I doubt they change anything in the actual ride itself.
No.
As in, like, going up the hills, going down the hills, the massive drop at the end when you go into the thorns. I'm sure all of that's going to stay the same. It's just going to have a new Tiana theme around it. It's the same thing that happened with Maelstrom in Epcot.
Oh yeah, I haven't been to Epcot, so I wouldn't know. Although I'm excited for a little bit of a facelift with it. And like I love the music in Princess and the Frog. So like I think it's going to be a bop.
It's going to be really interesting to see. I'm very excited. I'm actually really excited about it.
Dancing as you go.
Just going through it. I don't know, like, I haven't been on that ride. I don't even know if I went on it when we were there when I was pregnant. So it may have been like our honeymoon was the last time I remember being on it. The animatronics were just old and gross looking. So a facelift is much needed. Yeah. It's going to be great. But yes, so Splash Mountain closed. Disney and their newest Mickey ears, mini ears. You know those really long tags that are on them? They're like a super long, like white or black tag.
They're
and you
so
have to cut them off.
annoying.
They have switched them to now be a shorter tag, and they're rippable.
Oh, thank goodness.
So they come with perforations up against it, and then they just rip right off.
Yeah, because I bought my first set of mini ears, and then I'm like walking around the park with this tail, and there's like, they don't have scissors for me to cut it off. So I'm like, I had to get them at the hotel. Ugh, thank goodness. Quality of life change.
It's literally a quality of life change. Oh, that's what it was about the Splash Mountain. People are literally selling the water from Splash Mountain on eBay right now.
It's almost
Anywhere from $30 to like I saw something for $2,500. I'm like, y'all, it's Florida water.
Oh,
You're good.
gosh.
You don't need that in your house.
It's just like people selling bath water, but not as cringy.
It's it's Disney's version of Gamer Girl bathwater.
You want some Disney bathwater?
Oh no. Ooh. Oh, this is really, really exciting. So Disneyland's new fireworks show, Wondrous Journeys, debuts on January 27th. So that's in 3 days from now. It says that the show will include nods to every film released by Walt Disney Animation Studios, including the upcoming Wish film that has not been released, and has 18 Disney songs throughout the show. And part of the projections look like there's Encanto on there. These butterflies remind me of Alice in Wonderland. So it sounds like it's going to be a really interesting show, and I can't wait to see videos of that.
Yeah, don't look at chat.
Too late. Too late.
Yeah, I want to see that.
So just as a reminder to everybody who is listening to this on Apple and Spotify, we are streaming live on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/cozy. Y'all don't want to miss the chat comments half the time. We wish we missed them half the time.
Because
so
it's very distracting.
If you want to join in on the fun, come check us out Tuesday nights between 9:30 and 10 Eastern is when we go live. That's 6:30 and 7 Pacific time.
Yes.
That's all I had for updates this week. I feel like I had a
a
few other things that came across my timeline, but not a ton.
I mean, last week was the big updates. So
Yes.
they just slow it down a little bit.
What else can they do besides all of those updates and then making me sob 3 times in one day?
And then you go and watch what? Tim Tracker
yesterday, watching his video of his last time riding it. I was scrolling all day long, scrolling through TikTok on Sunday. It was just everybody's live video of them standing in line and then riding, and then they put out pictures. So okay, the last people to ride the ride were cast members working it. And one of the first pictures is this girl in the front in her costume, which the costumes for Splash Mountain are god awful. Like Disney's costumes are terrible. They need an upgrade. But
yeah.
So she's sitting there in this costume, and you can just tell her eyes are like all red and swollen. Like she cried her whole way through the ride. I was like, that's me. I'm you.
And you're not even on the ride.
You're not even on the ride. I'm just watching with you.
Oh, no.
So hey, that reopens in 2024 in Disney World. You can still ride it in Disneyland for now. They haven't announced a shutdown date for Disneyland, but it is coming. So if you still want to ride Splash Mountain and rub it in all the Walt Disney World people's faces, head over to Disneyland and ride it while you can.
Because it will be gone.
It is living. It is on borrowed time right now. Whew. Villains. If you're in chat, shout out who your favorite villain is, because we want to know. How do you want to do this first? So I know we talked a little bit, like I have a most evil and a least evil villain set, and then I have villains that I love.
I have like villains that I love and then villains that I hate, and I think that are the worst.
Okay. Give me your top. Who's your top favorite villain that you love?
Okay, this surprised me. I was going through the list of all the villains for Disney, and they have like their main ones, and then there's like other ones. Anyways, Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland is my favorite.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
As in, like, you would hang out with them, your favorite, or just
yeah.
like you just love?
I mean, like,
you're gonna lose your head.
Like, if not, I wouldn't though. If someone gets on her nerves and someone's just annoying her, she's just like, okay, just chop their head off. Like, I feel like I could match that energy. I feel like
chop your head off.
I feel like if somebody is getting on my nerves. Sometimes I don't actually want to chop their head off, but I think, I could match that energy. Slam a door in their face, maybe.
I am so flabbergasted right now because you could have given me 10 guesses and I wouldn't have guessed.
I
Queen
know.
of Hearts.
I told you.
Oh my God.
Timeout, ban, if they're getting on my nerves.
Okay, you know what?
Hey.
I can see it.
Right?
I can see that.
And I watched a lot of Alice in Wonderland when I was younger. Like repeat.
Alice in Wonderland it's so good. It's another one of those ones where like there's a million type of book tropes that come off of it. So like I read so many retellings of Alice in Wonderland.
Mm-hmm.
And the Queen of Hearts it's really interesting how they do her. I was reading something today. She is the Queen of Hearts in the Disney movie is a combination of like 3 characters from the original book series. It was like the Queen, the Joker, and the Lady of Hearts, I think. They combined all 3 of them with their characteristics from the book and came out with her for the movie.
Mm.
So that I didn't know before.
I did not know that.
Wow, Queen of Hearts. Okay.
But yeah, like just that's probably my top one because you just hang out. Just don't get on her nerves and you're fine. But if you're annoying, she's just whack.
Okay.
Weren't expecting that, were you?
I'm not. I have nothing to say to it because it is not who I was expecting. Oh my God. I thought for sure you were gonna be on like my level or King Candy from Wreck-It Ralph.
I have him written down, I think. Oh no, I don't. He's a good one though.
I'm not as into that movie, so I don't remember as much about him, honestly.
You thought that's what was going to be mine?
Because you love the movie so much?
I love Wreck-It Ralph.
So I don't know.
No. He's mean.
All right.
A jealous little man.
So my favorite villain, do you have any guesses?
Okay, let me think.
Knowing that I'd never be able to guess yours.
Okay, favorite as in like you could hang out with
I would
them?
hang out with this person.
Okay. I think it's that big fat guy from Lilo and Stitch.
Mr. Bubbles?
No,
or wait, or the alien
the
one.
alien with all the eyes.
No, but that's I don't even have him written. It's funny, is Lilo and Stitch is one that I wrote down as a movie that didn't have a de facto villain in it.
I mean, that's
really funny.
Good now, but he was villain in the beginning.
Yeah. No, Hades.
Okay.
Hades is sassy.
Mm-hmm.
He's always having a good time. Everything's a game to him. And the only thing I have to stay away from is making a deal with him. Like, hey, Callie, can you go get me a drink? I'm going to go to the kitchen and get myself a drink. I'll bring one back for you. But I'm not going to get into a deal with him being like, hey, if you do this, I'll do that. Like, no, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, that's fair.
I'll just do it. No deals with Hades. And I think I can be chill. I can hang with Pain and Panic.
I feel like he has a very short temper, though.
Okay, but I do too. See, the matching the energy. I'm there.
Okay.
He wants to have a shouting match. I'll get into a shouting match.
But he has flaming hair. That could hurt.
You just don't touch his hair. It's blue flames.
But if he aims it at
maybe I can
you.
blow it out. When he gets really mad and like the fire shoots out from him on all sides, I just gotta do what they did in Duck.
Okay.
Keep me on my toes.
Fair.
I'm mostly there for the sass. He's hilarious. I think they gave Hades some of the best personality for villains, like down the line.
That's fair.
Him and Yzma. Yzma's on my list of somebody that I really love.
Kronk is on my list.
Her and Kronk are the best.
I could be friends with Kronk.
Squeak squeakers, squeak squeakity, squeak squeakers.
It's so good. He's awesome.
It's such a good one. If there comes a time where they do finally open a villains park, I'm along with everybody else first in line for an Yzma and Kronk ride.
Pull the
She
lever,
screams,
Kronk.
pull the lever, Kronk.
Yes.
Wrong lever. Perfect.
Yeah, like
that would be the dream ride.
Like a Tower of Terror. I think we talked about that before. Like a Tower of Terror type ride.
Yep.
Wrong lever. Whoa.
Like with Expedition Everest, where you end up going backwards and then you shoot forwards again. That'd be so fun. You pull the lever, wrong lever as you're shooting backwards. And then it's like, oh, my bad. And then you shoot forwards onto a different track. Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be awesome. I think Ursula is super sassy as well, though.
Yes. I don't know what they did with these like late 90s, early 2000 villains. They had them down because Ursula was sassy. Jafar and Scar.
I do not. Scar? Nope.
You can't tell me you don't appreciate Scar.
He is my least favorite.
Overall, your least favorite villain?
Because he, I feel like, is the worst. He killed his own brother. He killed his own brother because he's a jealous little lion cat. And I think it's terrible.
Okay.
Why kill your own family because you want to be king? That's so dumb.
That's a fair point.
That is so evil.
It's a fair point.
I could never kill. Like, I couldn't even think about killing my own family. Such an evil little cartoon cat.
Yeah, but without Scar, we don't get Lion King 2. And Lion King 2 is like the best sequel.
Okay.
We have to have him.
I understand his importance. But
no,
I don't like
can
him.
appreciate. I was Googling what online searches and what like public opinion was on the worst villains. And Scar is on that list for a lot of people. So I completely understand. I think I'm going to blow your mind when I talk about who I think is most evil. If you've been listening to this podcast from day one, I have two. One of them you should be able to guess because I have talked about it. The other one, I will bet you that nobody in this chat knows who I'm talking about when I say their name. So I'm excited. But yeah, so I agree. Scar, when you're taking it so far that you kill your own family
in front of their kid.
Then is this Hamlet? Right?
And then you make the kid feel like it was him who did it.
I know you kill your brother and then you gaslight your nephew into thinking he's the reason.
Yes, and you run him off. That is terrible. It's terrible. No one, that should not ever happen.
Hold on. Kodohundo, Scar was framed. Who told us Scar killed Mufasa? Who had the most to gain from both Mufasa and Scar being out of the picture? Open your eyes. But Kodohundo, Simba was going to be king regardless.
True.
Unless
this
you're
is
talking about I'm a horrible Disney fan. Not Iago. Shoot.
Who?
The bird. Bird.
Zazu?
Unless you're talking about Zazu.
Zazu couldn't be the king. He's a bird.
Plot twist. Zazu, the king's advisor, takes over.
But he's a bird. It's just like you wanting Nala to be a princess. She's a lion. I don't think a bird could be king.
Okay, well, Nala probably would have taken over Pride Rock before Zazu would have. So.
Exactly. Wait, so we're saying
point, she should be a princess.
Oh.
And we're back in it. No, that's funny. Scar, let's see. Who else do I have on here? Okay, you want to talk a really scary one that like messed me up? I still won't watch. So I won't watch the movie Pinocchio. Like it's just one of those movies that like I won't watch again. I probably won't show Aiden Pinocchio for a couple years because the coachman in it is terrifying. He steals and buys children from people who are being bad, and takes them to Pleasure Island where they can be as bad as they want to be. And when they're like really, really bad, they turn into donkeys. And then he turns around and he sells the donkeys to salt mines to work until they die.
Wow. I mean, when you put it like that, that sounds terrible.
It's terrifying.
So were you scared that as a child that would happen to you?
Probably. I wouldn't say that like I was a bad child, but maybe this movie was the reason why I wasn't a bad child.
I'm wondering,
It's terrifying.
who thought up that concept?
I don't know.
And were they on something?
Maybe.
Because
honestly, the entire Pinocchio movie is kind of a mind trip as you watch it.
I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about Alice in Wonderland. It is a little bit odd, too.
She's literally on a trip.
Yeah.
In her favorite rocket ship. Flying through the skies.
Little line signs, though.
Honestly, talking about like old school Disney movies, like especially when you throw back to Scar, right? The evil queen was Snow White. The only reason she wanted to get rid of Snow White was because she was jealous of how pretty she was.
Yeah, I have written it down. She was jealous. How old was Snow White? Like 14?
14.
She was jealous of a 14-year-old being prettier than her. Yep. Like, lady, yes, she is prettier than you. You're old.
She had the king. She was queen. She had the whole kingdom, but nah. Gotta kill this girl. Oh, and so that I know she's dead, bring me back her heart in a box. So that I'm sure you can't mess with me. You can't try to trick me.
Right. Because she was already queen. So like what? There was absolutely nothing to gain there. Other than she's prettier than you are. How sad is that? How like
straight family murder. I mean stepmother, but straight murder because she's pretty.
How self-absorbed do you have to be to just I'm the queen, but people say she's prettier than me. Okay, let's get rid of her.
Sorry, I gotta type this out. On the flip side, not the flip side, on the similar token, Cinderella, Lady Tremaine was only mean to her because she was her stepdaughter, or because Cinderella was her stepdaughter.
Right, but do you think in her real heart of hearts, she knew that Cinderella was prettier than her daughters?
You kind of have to.
I mean,
Lady Tremaine by all means did not seem stupid.
No.
She seemed like she was very smart, very put together. Her daughter's further from the apple tree. So like she had to know. Do I think that she knew that Cinderella would one day like I think she knew that Cinderella would compete for hands in marriage, which is why she did it. But on the level of Prince, she's probably like, there's no way, no shot. And here we are.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Evil Queen, that's just sad. I just feel sorry for her.
Okay. Are you ready for something that I found in my research?
Sure.
This is crazy. Like I had to do extra research because I didn't trust this website. I looked on like 5 different websites. So in my research, I was picking out who I think is the least evil Disney villain. And I had rules. I had to actually pick a villain. It had to be a movie who had a villain, because we'll talk a little bit later. There's movies that don't actually technically have a villain. In my research, I have determined that the hunter from Bambi is the least evil villain in Disney.
Why?
The hunter wasn't purposefully hunting Bambi or Bambi's mom for the fact of they did something. The hunter's just out doing what hunters do, which was hunting. He had no knowledge that he was purposefully murdering a family. He wasn't like, man, these deer are eating my carrots. I'm going to go out and take care of them. My guy is just out hunting.
Okay.
So I have chosen him as my least evil Disney villain for that fact. Because you go down the list, like Ursula is turning people into underwater whatever they were, little worms, so they can't continue living their life. Scar killed family. The evil queen killed somebody wanted somebody dead. Jafar's imprisoning people, like purposefully doing all these things. The hunter is just out hunting.
Okay. Yeah. See, yeah, I get that. Because I had him written down as awful, but he didn't know.
Most people do. But when you start comparing and contrasting, my guy is just out doing stuff. My guy is just out. Yeah. Oh, yes. Chat's got my Kodo Hundo. Kodo Hundo's in my good books. Doe aren't trophy kills. That's a sustenance kill. Because you're not putting a doe head up on a wall because there's no antlers on that baby.
True. He's just getting some food.
He's just out.
Just happened to be Bambi's mom.
Sorry, Bambi's mom.
Oh no.
In order to make it worse, because I think Disney recognized that the hunter really wasn't that bad. Have you ever seen the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Nope.
The movie's a creepy movie as a child. Honestly, flat out terrifying as a child. So anybody in chat or who's listening to this right now, if you remember the dip that Judge Doom would dip cartoon characters into to kill the cartoon characters. This is a terrifying movie. It was supposed to be revealed that Judge Doom, who himself was a cartoon character, plot twist at the end, was the hunter from Bambi. And somewhere along the line, they were doing this in order to make him more evil. And I had to search so much about this because I was like, that's really, I feel like that's stretching it, but no, it's all over the internet. This was supposed to be some secret plot twist that they just ended up writing out of the film just for plot purposes, I guess. But he was supposed to be revealed as the hunter from Bambi.
So he is evil.
If they did that, yeah. But it could also be he was the hunter from Bambi. People hate him for no reason, so he's gone crazy, which is why he hates cartoon characters and he wants to kill all the cartoon characters. Weird redemption arc. Or we're not redemption arc. Villain with a purpose. Hey, you all hate me. I wasn't doing anything wrong. So no, you want me to be evil? I'll be really evil and I'll just kill everybody.
Whoa.
So the takeaways from this are the hunter is not evil and Judge Doom is terrifying, and if you haven't seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, you should go see it. Should
we though? It sounds a little creepy.
It's honestly, it's a really good movie.
Oh, okay.
I just wouldn't recommend watching it under the age of 8. Don't show Briggs.
I mean, I went on the Roger Rabbit ride at Disney. And I was like, wow,
that's a good one.
This is a little, there's bunnies in dresses, but there's a nice slit up the dress. I'm like, wow, this is very weird.
A little risque.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyways.
So least evil. Okay. Well, you've talked about most evil, so I'll give you my most evil.
Yeah, sure.
So I have 2. Mostly because I can't choose. So like I said, if you've been listening to the podcast from the beginning, I feel like you should be able to guess this. But Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah. Could have guessed that.
I hate that movie with a passion. I hate him with a passion. My guy, I mean, literally the entire movie is driven by his hatred of gypsies, him falling in love and lusting after a gypsy who he thinks are the epitome of sin. And because this chick rejects him, he can't stand it. He's like, if I can't have you, nobody can. Tries to kill her. Doesn't. Quasimodo comes in and saves her. He wants to kill Quasimodo for the same, because he's in the way or he's sick of him. And then he ends up dying one of the most apparently horrific deaths in Disney history, falling into a vat of molten copper.
Well, sucks to suck.
I didn't know this. Did you know he also killed Quasimodo's mom? And that's how he came in. I hate that movie. The entire movie is horrifying.
I just watched the first 10 minutes the other day. And in the first 10 minutes, he kills his mom, Quasimodo's mom, because he like ran into her with the horse, and so she smacked her head and was donezo. And then he tries to kill the baby by drowning it in a well. Those are like the first 10 minutes.
I told you when we talked about how this movie is just god awful from start to finish. This is what I mean. If you are out there telling me that Hunchback of Notre Dame is your favorite movie, I have problems with you. You can't convince me you're a good person. I'm sorry.
Maybe they like the redemption story. I don't know.
Quasimodo doesn't get the girl.
No,
the only dad he's ever known dies a horrific death. He's left alone.
Yeah, but it's an abusive dad. Makes him say all the terrible things about himself. No, ABCs.
Fair. The only good thing about Hunchback of Notre Dame is the music.
Very good.
It's the only
very good
to come out of that movie. So Frollo I hate. So my big one, Bill Sykes. Sykes. And if somebody in chat knows who I'm talking about without Googling it, if you're listening to this and you know who I'm talking about without Googling it, tell me. Put in the comment wherever you're listening to this. Shoot us a message. I want to know that you know who I'm talking about. So Bill Sykes is the villain in Oliver and Company. Oliver and Company is one of my favorite Disney films. It's a Disney cat. I love the Disney cats. So like Oliver, I adore. This guy's a mob boss. And the end of the movie is the guy who has all of the dogs, who Dodger is one of the dogs. Oliver befriends Dodger. Do you know the song where it's like, why should I worry? Why should I care?
No.
You know. Okay, I'll have to send you the clip of that. Anyway, that's Dodger singing it in this movie. That's from Oliver and Company. But the guy who owns the dogs like owes money to this mob boss bad guy. And he's like, you better pay me back or else I'm going to kill you and I'm going to kill all your dogs. Because he's like a homeless guy who has like 8 dogs. So it's already scary. This is a movie that probably traumatized me as a kid. I don't know why I love it so much. So he's like, you owe me money, figure it out. Oliver is the kitten of a very rich family. And so the guy's like, perfect. I will kidnap the kitten and I will ransom the kitten for money because the kitten is very beloved by this family. The evil mob boss guy thinks that he means he's going to kidnap the little girl that the kitten belongs to, like who owns the kitten, and ransom the little girl for money. So he ends up kidnapping this little girl and is like, he's joking, like she tries to escape, right? And he's like, if you don't sit still, my dogs are going to eat you. Like I'm going to kill you and my dogs are going to eat you.
Oh gosh.
This movie's horrible.
That is terrible.
It's such a good movie.
I've never seen that one.
It's great. I'm missing all the good points. I'm literally just highlighting the evilness of this bad guy right now. So they all end up escaping at the end of the movie, and this Bill Sykes guy's driving behind him with his like 2 Dobermans in the back of the car, and they're like attacking the dogs and the cats, and it seems like they're trying to like kill. They're trying to kill the dogs and the cats. Like it just is what it is. The Dobermans go flying out the car and land on like electrified railway and like assumingly get electrocuted to death. The guy's still chasing after these people on subway trains. Like he's just in a car on the subway train. And then he ends up dying what is considered the most horrific death in Disney history, which is a train hits him head on, fiery collision, etc. Anyway, I have him as the most horrific alongside Frollo because his entire thing was, the only thing you knew about him in the movie was, I'm killing all the people around me for money, for fun, and because I can and because I want to.
Wow. That's messed up.
But hey, if you haven't seen Oliver and Company, it's a great movie.
Yeah, it sounds like a great movie.
It's way better than Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Not. Oh my gosh.
So those are my most evil.
I think I think Mother Gothel is pretty bad. That's one I had written down. Just because
Mother Gothel is.
she steals a baby to make herself young, which is like, that's so lame. So she's stolen baby, making it think it's hers. She gaslights Rapunzel like the whole movie and her whole life.
Rapunzel's entire life is a lie.
She's so manipulated by this woman who basically scares her about anything. Scares her. Everything is scary, so don't leave the tower. That's messed up.
Yeah.
That's like people could get arrested for that kind of stuff.
What's really interesting is if you watch the movie, anytime that Mother Gothel is shown giving affection or saying something affectionate or loving to Rapunzel, she's touching her hair or looking at her hair. She's never actually looking at or touching Rapunzel herself. It's always, I love you as she pets your hair. I love you most. No, it's always her hair.
It's not her.
Mm-hmm.
That's messed up.
She keeps her like a possession.
Yeah, she's yucky.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention Oogie Boogie. Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas is pretty terrifying.
I haven't seen that movie.
Actually, it's on a whole new level of terrifying. He's just creepy.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to watch that one.
It's bugs inside of an old suit, and he's just evil and wants to kill and eat everybody, and he's just terrifying.
Hey, well, I need to go watch that.
You know what I love about Maleficent? Maleficent was evil and mad strictly because she was slighted by not receiving a party invite. All the other fairies in the kingdom were invited to the celebration of the birth of Aurora, except her.
I wonder if they just didn't want to invite her because of her horn hat.
Maybe.
Like, what is that?
It could be terrifying.
That's what I don't understand. Like, why are you wearing that? It looks terrible. And you could like poke someone's eye out.
Is it a hat or is it actually on her?
It looks like a hat. Wait, what is she?
Well, I mean, she shapeshifts into a dragon. So like,
Is
it
she a
wouldn't
witch?
surprise me if, I mean, she's a fairy. But it wouldn't surprise me if like those are her horns.
That's unfortunate then. But if she can shapeshift into a dragon, she could shapeshift the horns off her head.
If I remember correctly, the live action one, she had wings and her wings were like cut off, I think. That was
That's
a good set of
sad.
movies, the Maleficent movies. Those were good.
With Angelina Jolie.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, those were great. But yeah, Maleficent she's not my favorite villain, but she's on a top tier list for me because she just got mad because she was slighted as arguably the most powerful fairy in their kingdom. And they're like, no, we're not going to send you a party invite. She's like, oh, okay, bet. I'm going to curse everybody in the entire kingdom now. Thanks. I like it.
Petty.
It is a level of petty I can deal with.
That's crazy.
Don't mess with somebody who has that much power.
Seriously. Just send her an invite even if she's not going to come. That's bad. Okay, do you know there's two that I have written down that could be favorites of mine just because I think they're hilarious.
Okay.
Chick Hicks from Cars. I think it's so funny how out of touch he is. Like, he cannot read a room. And I think that's, like, I get secondhand embarrassment, even from a cartoon car. But I think it's just, It's just funny how he cannot read a room and just how dumb he is. I love it. No, you weren't expecting that one either, were you?
I was not.
Oh, yeah,
you know why?
Why?
I have Cars on the list of movies that does not have a villain as the antagonist.
Oh, Chick Hicks is okay. I feel like he is though. He caused a crash.
But here's my argument. His Lightning McQueen's trouble in that movie and his conflict is not caused by Chick Hicks. It's actually
himself.
Caused by his own ego.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, that's
By the way, thank you for that, because I was trying to look up an antagonist that was actually the protagonist like all day today, and you just uncovered that for me. So Cars. Ha!
You're
but
welcome.
yes, your second point.
Okay, you know the bowler hat guy from Meet the Robinsons?
Yes.
I love him because, again, like everything just right over his head. Like,
I need to rewatch that movie. I haven't seen that in so long.
So bad. And sometimes I feel like I can match his energy. Like someone will say something in chat or whatever, and I'm like, oh, but I don't get it. I can 100% match bowler hat guy's energy.
Stop.
What?
Like, oh, yeah, that's really funny. Wow, guys, did you see that creeper? That creeper almost killed me. Like, that's all I'm picturing you doing. And then there's like 5 of us in Discord going, oh, Cozy didn't get that one.
Yeah.
I text you real quick and I'm like, oh, hey.
It's just woof.
That's really funny. No, I didn't even have him on the list, but that's such a good one.
I love Meet the Robinsons. I've seen that so many times.
I really need to rewatch that movie. That movie is hilarious.
Very good.
Excuse me. Okay, on a list of like not actually bad guys, although technically the villain of the movie, Shere Khan from the Jungle Book.
Mm-hmm.
My guy was really just trying to protect the forest. He knew that man could come in and burn everything down and kill the animals.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, he's really just looking to protect probably himself more than anything, but he is really just looking to protect his forest.
Yeah.
Still a villain, but
still a villain. That's true.
Misunderstood. He and the hunter from Bambi can start a misunderstood Disney villains club.
You know who's not misunderstood?
Who?
Lotso.
I can't stand Lotso.
He's on here as one of my least favorite.
I can't stand him.
Just because you're a miserable fat old bear who doesn't smell like strawberry. Actually, he still smells like strawberries, but he looks a mess. Just because you got replaced doesn't mean everybody else has to be miserable. Like, what
Agreed.
a little cow.
You said everything I would have said. Yes.
Amen.
Amen. Oh, who do I have on here? Ooh, you know who's a really interesting villain? Hans from Frozen. He
Bad.
like talk about an opportunist. What was he? The 13th, the youngest of 13 siblings. He knew that in order to inherit a kingdom, he had to find somebody who was in power to marry him. And obviously he doesn't really have that great of a personality, so that was going to be hard on its own. So of course, the logical thing is to murder 2 sisters to get the crown. When you go back and you listen to Love is an Open Door, he's telling you in that song he's the bad guy. He's like, all my life I've been searching to find my own place. And suddenly I see it with you, or I look at
bump into you.
He's He has been searching for his own kingdom for his entire life. And that moment when he meets Anna and realizes she's the princess and can tell and is like, ooh, if I just am nice to you a little bit, you'll agree to marry me. Boom. I'm one step closer to my own kingdom, and I just got to kill your sister.
I think he came into it knowing. I think he was like, yeah, Elsa probably not. She's a little prickly. But Anna seems super naive. And I could get her to like me. I think it was all a plan.
He said he came there for Elsa, but that nobody was getting anywhere with Elsa. Yeah. And then he saw Anna.
Like, yeah, sure.
Nobody knew anything about them because they were just locked up for forever. So you got to give him props for trying to make his situation work for him. Preferably minus the murder, but
bad guy.
he's a bad guy. Hans is one of my in the movie theater when that plot twist was revealed, I audibly gasped.
I guess like
I was so into this Disney movie.
The 6-year-olds around are like, what?
Trey and I were sitting there, and I just remember it was like January. We're sitting there watching this movie, and I'm like, I'm into it. I'm like, yes, Hans is her one true love. She's known it from the beginning of the movie. This is classic Disney, love at first sight. This is it. And then he's like, if only there was somebody who loved you. And I was like, oh, no, he didn't.
Kelly starts crying.
It was I didn't cry.
Are you sure?
I felt enraged.
Okay.
I was
face getting all red.
I was filled with anger. Disney duped me. I was so mad. And then Trey's like, "Oh I saw that coming the whole time." Well, okay.
I mean, could you not kind of tell it was coming because like Kristoff is there, and it's like, oh,
I
he
knew
really
that
likes
somehow
her.
She was going to end up with Kristoff, but I didn't think it was going to be because Hans was plotting double murder this whole time.
Oh God!
Ooh, Disney really got me on that one.
Yeah, they did. Oh my gosh.
Sheesh. I was trying to go through my notes and see if there's anything else. Shan Yu from Mulan. That guy's an actual bad guy. So he's one of the Huns who's coming in to invade China in Mulan. And I remember this because I just watched Mulan like 2 weeks ago. It was on TV. And they're like near a village, and he picks up a doll and he's like, we have to go visit this village. The little girl's going to be missing this doll, and we need stop. And we need to return it to her. Like, he's full on evil, and he goes to this village and destroys it, just razes it, burns it from completely down into ashes, murders everybody there. And then Mulan comes up and like finds the little girl's doll, implying that Shan Yu did in fact take the doll back to the village and murder everybody and gave the girl back her doll. And he is a legit bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, Disney does this thing where a lot of their bad guys are very witty and funny and crack jokes, and you love them. I love Hades, Ursula. Scar is funny. Shan Yu is not that.
No.
He was a very serious bad guy.
Well, I mean, Gaston, he's funny. I don't like him at all. But he's, I guess, kind of the same thing. Funny. Cracks jokes. But I just could not stand his personality.
Gaston. I didn't write this down because I thought I was going to talk about it just all on my own. Gaston's like an actual scary bad guy because, like, he convinced all of the village that the Beast is like this horrible bad guy to imprison Belle's father. Belle's the village weirdo, and from a societal perspective, Gaston's actually kind of terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, He's terrible.
Actually kind of terrifying.
And he's so like full of himself. I can't stand that.
No one.
It's like, okay, no. Yes, you have muscles. That's probably about it. And a nice ponytail, but like I don't even like the ponytail.
No. And then just goes on to sing an entire song about how he's the best at everything. And of course, Belle should marry him. Why wouldn't Belle marry him? He's gorgeous. Yeah, okay, buddy.
He just eats like raw eggs. I'm like, at some point, you're going to get salmonella poisoning. And then what?
Also, can we talk about how expensive eggs are right now? Like in this economy, 12 dozen eggs? No.
Does he even work? Like, what does he do?
The town probably just gives him all of their money.
Struts around like, I'm the best.
Blech. Gets it all on his own.
Gross.
So I texted Cozy today, y'all, and I was like, I went into major like English paper research. My English professor would be so proud of me. I'm gonna post this on my Instagram and I'm gonna tag her in it. Because she has to know that I use this. I was going through and I was making a list of movies, and I got to two of my favorite movies right now, Frozen 2 and Encanto. Arguably, neither one of those have villains. You could argue that the grandmother is a villain in Encanto. You could argue that Bruno is supposed to be perceived as the villain. Frozen 2, the grandfather who attacked the North Aldrin people could be perceived as the villain. But they didn't truly drive the conflict through the movie. They weren't the reason the conflict progressed. They were maybe part of the outcome, I guess. Like you find out during the movie, like in Frozen 2, you find out that the grandfather killed the North Aldrin leader, and like that's why these things are happening. But so I Googled types of antagonists in a movie because it was bugging me, and I remembered that there were different types, and one of those types could be some type of force of nature. And there's 4 types of antagonists. Yes. So there's like your standard villains, which is everybody we've talked about tonight. There's conflict creators, which could be argued that the hunter in Bambi is not a villain. He is a conflict creator. He didn't actually do anything evil in the movie, but his actions are what led to there being the conflict of Bambi losing his mom. Maui from Moana could be a conflict creator. The entire plot of the movie Moana, going with Taka and restoring the heart of Te Fiti, would not have happened if Maui did not steal the heart of Te Fiti. Maui's not the villain in the movie, but he did create the reason for the conflict. The protagonists themselves could be the antagonists, which is why I kind of lit up when you talked about Cars. The plot of the movie Cars and him having to, like Lightning McQueen having to bring himself back to where he was, that was really all caused by his own actions. So he could be argued as being the antagonist of his own movie. Or inanimate forces, which include forces of nature, which I think better describe what happened in Frozen 2 and Encanto. Because the conflict in Frozen 2 was caused literally by the forces of nature who were mad by whatever happened with the conflict with North Aldra, and just like suddenly reared its ugly head. I don't know why it chose to do it when it did. Not really explained. Nice, massive plot hole, but cool. And then in Encanto, there's a massive debate over who's the bad guy, what is Mirabelle's actual powers, does she have a power, etc. Like that's a huge debate that goes on online now. When the conflict in the movie is because Casita's falling apart, the family's losing their powers, and it's kind of a myriad of issues. So I thought that was interesting. And in researching, I found an article written by Collider.com, how Disney is pivoting away from villains. And it talks about how more recent Disney movies don't have the standard villain you're used to. They will have somebody like Coco. Coco has the bad guy who like murdered the
Yeah.
great grandfather or whatever,
Mhm.
and he's the conflict creator for the movie, but he's not the de facto villain that we're used to, like Scar,
No.
like
Mhm.
Ursula.
Yep.
And it shifts out of even having a conflict creator into having these forces of nature for Encanto, the miracle, for Frozen 2, literal forces of nature. Disney is shifting out of having villains and making it far more complicated.
Right. I mean, think about Inside Out. There's not really a villain there.
I don't even have that movie written down, but that's a great point. There's not a villain in Inside
Or
Out.
that new one where he dies but doesn't die.
Is that Soul?
Yeah. There's not really a villain in that either. Interesting.
I haven't seen Luca, but Luca's on the list of having a possible conflict creator, but not like a villain.
No, because he runs away from home.
I think Inside Out is one of the better examples. Honestly, I didn't even think about that because there's not even like, it's just your emotions warring with each other.
And that's like the most relatable, honestly.
Yeah.
We cause our own. Whoa, this is getting deep.
Disney's like, okay, y'all, time to help with your own personal therapy. We're going to talk about how these other things that aren't just villains in your life, there's actual bad things.
Wow. Disney therapy session? Thank you.
On the Inside Out, there's a ton of therapists who, especially for kids, will use the characters from Inside Out to help kids figure out how they're feeling. Because it's the clearest representation of feelings in the body that like movies have given.
Yeah.
And most kids have seen that movie.
Oh yeah. It's a great one.
So I thought that was really interesting. So, we talk about villains the whole way through, but Disney seems to kind of be moving away from that natural antagonist into a much more complicated set of circumstances, which arguably I think makes for better storytelling.
Yeah, I kind of like that because I don't know, it's less predictable that way, I think.
Disney says bad guys are out.
Yeah.
There's enough bad guys in the Marvel series. Maybe we don't need them in the regular series.
True. I wonder if there will be like I mean, thinking about recent Disney movies, I don't think there really has been like a villain recently.
Like a standard Disney animated movie, I really don't think there is. I think there was maybe one in the Raya dragon movie.
Oh yeah,
I think there's supposed to be one in that one. Again, that one's on my to watch list. Oh, thank you, Alec. Finding Nemo. There's really not a villain, and there's like many conflict creators through the movie. Like somebody listed Darla as the villain in Finding Nemo. Like
the fish killer.
I don't think Darla is the villain of the movie, but I see the point.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, there isn't really. I mean, if Nemo just listened to his dad, wouldn't have such a big problem. Anyways. I was going to say, listen to your parents, but then you've got Rapunzel,
when it's
who really shouldn't have.
Listen to your heart. I mean, I guess her real parents, the ones that she didn't know because she was kidnapped from them. Man, Mother Gothel just keeps coming back as being an issue.
Yeah, big issue.
Whew. Okay, y'all. If there is a villain that you love and we didn't talk about them, let us know. We want to hear. Obviously, hopefully you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify or watching watching our live stream on twitch.tv/cozy. Cozy does put the VOD up on YouTube as well. That is youtube.com/Cozy Disney or @Cozy Disney. It's Cozy Disney on YouTube. There's links in our subscription. Oh my god, I can't talk tonight.
We'll probably end up changing that name of that channel.
Okay. And if we do, we will update our descriptions, not our subscriptions.
Yes.
But please do, if you are listening to this, especially watching the VOD on YouTube, do the YouTubey things. Subscribe, like, hit the bell for notifications. For Apple and Spotify, please subscribe. Leave us a rating. Leave us comments. Let us know how we're doing, what you like, what you don't like. Tell me I talk too much. I know I talk too much.
No, I don't think so. That's the point of a podcast.
We're talking. Podcasts are. I am made for podcasts.
We love that.
We want to hear from you. As always, we're on Instagram and TikTok as well @Tangled Up in Disney Podcast. We'd love to hear from you. We hope to see you next week as we live record here again on Twitch at twitch.tv/cozy. We start between 9:30 and 10 p.m. Eastern time, which is 6:30 to 7 Pacific time. Tell us who your favorite villains are. We'll shout you out. Everybody's saying Galactus in chat. Galactus Thanos. Everybody in chat loves Thanos too. I say everybody. My husband loves Thanos. So we didn't talk about Marvel. Let us know.
Oh no.
And, we'll talk to you guys next week. And until then, I hope you get tangled up in Disney. Bye.
Bye.